Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Mr. Writer speaking, and welcome to the show. Today, I bring you an extra special treat. Yes, instead of actually doing a movie review this time around, although I am a bit behind on some of those. I've already seen The Conjuring 3 and A Quiet Place 2. Still haven't gotten around to review those yet. In this video, I bring you a comic review. Not just any comic, however. This is actually by someone that I actually personally know. This is Jeremy Brana's Passion Fruit. Passion Fruit is the latest comic and Kickstarter project by Jeremy Brana with art done by Igor Kurilin. I apologize if I mispronounced that. And cover art by Joshua David Raymond and Francisco Tomaselli. Now, I actually met Jeremy Brana through the art scene of Huntsville, Alabama. He became a bit of a fan of my poetry readings, and I have supported his comic book work for years now. I've supported a previous Kickstarter campaign of his back last year. Enjoyed that work. And yeah, I said I would review this one, and I am. So, with that being all said and done, what exactly is Passion Fruit? Well, it's based off the short story by Jeremy Brana of the same name. It stars our protagonist, who, let's be honest, he's kind of a jerk. Kind of this moody, self centered, yet relatable individual who's just minding his own business, having a smoke, and drinking some beer in a parking lot after a long day. Suddenly, he gets a text message while driving home from a woman he knows. I'll get to more of that later. He gets a text from a woman he knows saying, "Hey, you're coming to the party? Make sure you bring some alcohol." And with 3 bottles of beer left over, he gladly goes, since she promised, more alcohol, harder alcohol, hard liquors. You can tell I'm definitely not a party person because I really don't know what I'm talking about in this case. Anyways, he arrives at the party and she greets him. Her name is Claire, and apparently she suffers from anxiety and has trouble socializing with others, so this party is actually to help her get to know people better and help her with her anxiety issues. And what better way to help with anxiety than to get yourself already stone-faced drunk? For the record, that is not a good way to help with anxiety. Anyways, our protagonist decides, as a bit of a party trick, to douse his hand in Bacardi and light his hand on fire. Do not try this at home, kiddies. The other party guests are amazed at his trick, one of them even asking, "How does he do it?" To which the protagonist replies, "Probably best not to do it." But the hostess, Claire, is not having any of it and literally bites his hand as soon as he tries to reach out for her. And for his troubles, she simply calls him a dick and walks away, still stone-faced drunk. Did I mention that getting drunk is not a good way to deal with your anxiety? As he goes outside to get some fresh air, there on the balcony of the apartment, he meets a seductive Russian woman. They share a smoke and begin to chit-chat, when all of a sudden the hostess appears at the balcony door. She tells the would-be lovebirds that they are about to go to the gas station before it closes to get some stuff. Everyone at the party goes to the gas station, probably to get some munchies. And along the way, our protagonist asks the hostess, "What is the seductive Russian's name?" After the hostess teases him about having a crush, she trips and stumbles, but he manages to catch her In gratitude, the hostess tells our protagonist the name of the seductive Russian, Helena. And so he walks up to her, now knowing her name. Satisfied with this knowledge, they soon come upon a closed fruit stand when Helena comments that it would be so nice to have a watermelon. Our protagonist says that maybe they will have one at the gas station, which actually isn't too far fetched. I've seen plenty of gas stations that actually double as grocery stores. Especially the big ones or some of the out of the way country gas stations you see here in the South. It's not too far fetched. That's all I'm saying. But of course, at this rinky dink little gas station, the only fruit they seem to be selling is bananas. Unperturbed, our protagonist decides to reach through the closed gate of the closed fruit stand and shimmy up a watermelon over the top. Every drunk person at the party claps in applause, and Helena is impressed. As everyone goes back into the apartment, our protagonist and Helena sit on the lawn of the apartment complex, enjoying some beers and a slice of watermelon. They stare into each other's eyes, longingly. And that's how it ends. Of our two lovebirds staring deeply into each other's eyes. Following our main story, we get some excellent sketches and preliminary sketches, as well as some character designs. And of course, an ad for Haven Comics in Madison, Alabama. I actually been there once. It's a really nice store. Highly recommend it if you're ever in the Madison City area. So, what do I think of Passion Fruit by Jeremy Brana and friends? Honestly, I really enjoyed this story. It's a nice, fun little story. It's all confined within a short period of time, and as someone who has struggled with condensing a story within a short format, I've really been trying to get into that more nowadays. When in the past, I personally have struggled with giving too much detail and over explaining things and being very, very wordy. Here, it's actually very refreshing. It's direct, it's to the point, and it's complemented so well with this fantastic art. Now, normally on a Kickstarter campaign, a lot of the art would be basically they're trying to be Marvel or DC. They're they look too much like Marvel or DC or the Invincible comics and that modern comic art style, but not here. I mean, sure, there's a little bit of Marvel and DC and Invincible comics influence in the art, but you will also get some excellent line work and character designs and facial features that you would see in like the Sweet Tooth comics or the Hellboy comics. It's a really nice and unique blend that makes the artwork so original. Not to mention the fact that let's take a look at the cover art, for example. I mean, my gosh, this is pretty. This cover right here is so gorgeous. It's almost lifelike. I mean, yeah, it's a flat image, but the coloring is so smooth and lifelike, and it really looks like Helena here is going to pop off the screen. It is that good. The story is excellently paced as well. And again, the protagonist is very relatable. He's this aloof man going about his day or evening and just going through life. And finally, he finds something in life to actually care about and go out of his way for, which is great. Now, of course, As I've already told Jeremy, there are a couple of things that I wish to critique. Now, this first one is more of a nitpick than anything else because as I was looking through the original short story and looking through the comic, I do find the ending to be a little bit abrupt. It kind of just ends. But at the same time, that actually could just be the showings of an excellent writer. You want to see these two move on with each other. You want to see more of these two characters and see where this relationship goes. I mean, I'm not asking for a freaking sex scene or anything like that, but yeah, it does end a little bit suddenly, but again, it makes me want more, which again shows how talented Jeremy actually is as a writer. I applaud him for that. So again, this is a little bit of a nitpick. The story ends a little suddenly, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's not necessarily a bad thing. The next and last critique that I have here is a little bit more on the serious side, and it concerns our protagonists and Claire, the hostess. How did they know each other again? What is the manner of their relationship? Are they brother and sister? Are they friends? Are they ex-lovers? Are they actually lovers? Does she actually have feelings for him but is okay with him pursuing another woman? What is this relationship here? In the full context of the story, he just gets a text from her, and the narrator, aka the protagonist, never actually states how he knows her. He knows her personality, he knows her name, he knows how she can be when drunk, but we never actually get a confirmation on how they actually know each other. I've even looked in the original short story, which is included in the package for the pledge that I signed up for. And again, I still can't find any sort of confirmation on how these two are supposed to know each other. I mean, as far as I know, they're just two random people that just happen to know so much about each other. This is kind of a common trap within the writing community. You see, as the writer, we are privy to know a lot more about our characters and their pasts and their personalities that we sometimes forget to explain that to the audience, aka the readers. I've done this myself on a number of occasions and have caught myself doing it a lot. But again, the chemistry between these two characters is still very strong. I just wanted some confirmation on how they know each other. That way I can understand their relationship more. Why does she think he's a dick? Why, despite the fact that he clearly doesn't want to go to this party, does he still feel obligated to go to this party? Is it just because of the promise of hard liquor, or deep down inside, he actually cares about her as a friend or whatever? I, as the reader, just don't know that because it's not explained to me. Apart from that, this is an excellent comic, and I highly recommend it. And it is for those reasons that I give it an above average rating of 4.5 out of 5. That's all the time I have for the day. This has been the Mr. Writer speaking, and until next time, sayonara.